development coming in as far as a liquor or scam is concerned. The CBI has established money trail of 17 crore in the liquor scam. We're given to understand that a news channel employee has also been arrested in connection with the liquor scam. So big lead coming in as far as the liquor scam is concerned. During the course of its investigation, the CBI did manage to get access of those records and WhatsApp chats of Hawala operators. Let's go across to Shawan, our senior editor. Shawan, that's a big lead, of course, coming in. Take us through the details.
Well, in fact, Samisha, the big news now coming in first on Republic is the fact that the Central Bureau of Investigation has managed to establish a money trail of worth 17 crore rupees in the liquor scam. In fact, what we are picking up from our sources within the agency is that an arrest was made in this particular case on 12th of May, happens to be the production and commercial head of a news channel. In fact, what they have also come across is records in terms of WhatsApp chats and a few other incriminating evidence to the effect that money was being transferred through Hawala channels worth about 17 crores at this point in time. The number could certainly change as the investigation is still underway. But it's a big breakthrough for the Central Bureau of Investigation because they've been able to identify the money trail that had taken place of how the money came in from the liquor scam accused, and it was being transferred to a company that has been now linked to the Aam Aadmi Party. In fact, we are given to understand that money went into in two tranches. One was on June 2021 and thereafter on June 2022. And the money was received by a company which goes by the name of Charit Media Private Limited. Interestingly, this very company was actually employed by the Aam Aadmi Party for their outdoor campaigning during the Goa state polls. So it is important to point out here is that the question that was essentially being raised all this while, whether at all the agency was being able to identify that money trail, it has now come in from top sources that they have been able to identify the money trail, because remember in the charge sheet that was filed by the Central Bureau of Investigation, they have essentially spoken about 70 crore rupees. All this while 30 crore rupees was already something that they were able to identify. Another 17 crore rupees has now been identified by the Central Bureau of Investigation, which is the money trail in this particular case. And they've also been able to identify the Hawala operators who were actually in touch with the employees of the Andhra group or the South lobby, as it was put by the central agencies in the charge sheet that they have filed, and the fact that finally the money was landed in the hands of a company called Charit Media Private Limited. So it is undoubtedly a big development in the liquor scam.
Shawan, just a quick follow-up question. So like you're telling us, 17 crore transferred by Hawala channels. Do you think it's only tip of the iceberg? And also, anything known about how was the 17 crore utilized by those involved in the scam?
Well, the money has gone into the hands of a company called Chariot Media Private Limited. And remember, there was an arrest that was made subsequently by the Central Bureau of Investigation of a person linked to this very company. The allegation that has essentially been leveled is that through Hawala transactions, the money reached into the hands of this particular company. This company thereafter was actually utilized by the Aam Aadmi Party for their outdoor campaigning. Having said that, perhaps the Central Bureau of Investigation basically suspects that some of the leaders of the Aam Aadmi Party who were basically benefiting from this quid pro quo that actually took place, it turns out that the money that they were essentially receiving through Hawala transaction was being diverted, and the money that was raised through the liquor scam was actually being utilized for the campaigning of the Aam Aadmi Party when they were basically contesting during the elections.
Okay. So you're saying that this could have very well been used in the campaigning as well. Any more names that we can, probably more those of accused who could be under the radar of the agencies? Shawan, as of now, we understand it's only one employee of this particular channel that's under the radar of the agencies.
You already had Gautam Motha, who was already taken, who was already questioned by the Central Bureau of Investigation and thereafter also by the other, he was under the scanner of the other agencies. But what is important to point out here is that we still do not have much clarity as to how the person who's now been arrested, who's the production commercial head of the news channel, who was arrested on 12th of May and was produced just about a few hours ago in the court for further remand, and we are given to understand that the court has already granted for the custody of the person who has been arrested. But what we do not know is the exact link that has basically emerged at this point in time in terms of how it was operating and who exactly was behind it. So all those details are basically emerging at this point in time. We are getting more details as
all right, Shawan, there,
yes, may be involved in it.
Yes. All right, and Shawan, for our viewers also who are just tuning in, if you can quickly put this into context for us, the arrests that have been made, the people who are under the radar apart from the politicians or the particular party in this case, apart from them.
Well, as far as there have been multiple arrests that have already been made in the liquor scam, the very fact that you've had a Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi, Manish Sisodia, who is placed behind bars, in fact, was there taken into custody by the Enforcement Directorate. Over a dozen arrests have already taken place so far. What is important to point out is that the matter is still being investigated. There have been multiple charge sheets that have been filed, but in the days to come, there is a possibility of supplementary charge sheets to also be filed in the case because few arrests have recently been made. Arvind Singh happens to be one person who has been placed on arrest just recently, that is on 12th of May, and he's been produced before the court and further custody has been granted. But what's important to point out here is that essentially the agency is basically looking at how the Aam Aadmi Party has benefited from the liquor scam. There was a quid pro quo is what they say. And the fact of the matter is that establishing the money trail is extremely crucial at this point in time, Samiksha, because all this while the Aam Aadmi Party was raising this entire question as to where exactly is the money that they are talking about, what is the scam worth. These are some questions that were essentially being asked by the Aam Aadmi Party. Now it turns out that there has been incriminating evidence that has been gathered by the Central Bureau of Investigation in terms of the money trail, and they have been able to identify the hawala operators. And it is important to point out also one more question that has been raised by the Aam Aadmi Party as to why were no recoveries made. Samiksha, it is important to highlight here that when a hawala transaction essentially takes place, it is very unlikely that you would actually find the money, the physical amount to be found recovered by the Central Bureau of Investigation, because this was a hawala transaction to begin with. But for the agency to be able to identify the hawala operators and to be able to establish that 17 crore rupees have already exchanged hands, that in itself is a development in the case.
So Shawan, just to put this into context, we have National Capital link, of course, but Andhra Pradesh link, Telangana link, and now even the Goa links. Of course, multiple states there where we understand the nexus was apparently there as far as the liquor scam is concerned. All right, not sure. We still have Shawan, but of course tracking the latest as far as the liquor scam is concerned. The latest, of course, coming in that a news channel employee has been arrested. 17 crore money trail that's been found to a news channel.